I think if we're set up and it's working, it says we're live. So rock and roll. Happy solstice, everybody! What a beautiful way to start the new year. Regardless of the correction, we're talking about cryptocurrency, and in 2021, if you're learning about crypto and Bitcoin and DeFi, you're early. And what a wild ride it is. My name is Lucas.
My name is Ryan.
My name is Jacob.
And we're here for your weekly live stream update. It's interactive, so if you've got any questions or anything you want to show us that you feel is going to help in the DeFi crypto education, send us a link, say hello in the chat, hit the thumbs up, the like, and let's start out with a little market cap overview without further ado. How is it looking?
It's ugly. But that's an opportunity, so can't be too upset.
Well, so you say it's ugly, right? But 12% in one day, that's huge in terms of traditional finance, right? But if we're looking at a big picture scope, Bitcoin being worth $31,000, is that too bearish?
No.
If you look at a year, if you pull back for a year or a few months or even 2 years where we're at,
Right.
that's why I look at these things as corrections. If you're new to cryptocurrency, then this looks like, oh my gosh, this is the end of the market. Look at the news coming out. China's banning, the World Bank, the energy, all this negative news, and you see these major volatility and dumps. Then it can scare you. But the reality is that when you go up 300%, 500%, 1,000%, some of these protocols have literally gone up 20,000, 30,000% in the last couple years. So going down 11%, 50% on something like that's normal. These are corrections.
One of the terms that's going around that people are talking about now is death cross, because that's kind of what Bitcoin just had, a death cross. But what I think it was yesterday or the day before when it happened, and so that's a spooky term. But I was doing a little bit of research, and apparently death crosses are, as often than not, signs that the pain is sort of coming to an end, right? Because it's a moving average story. So it's like a short-term moving average crossing below a longer-term moving average, which means that the short-term trend is going lower than the long-term trend, right? And that's supposed to be a sign that that you're not going up, you're going down, right? But often these death crosses occur kind of like near the bottom or close to the bottom of corrections, because it's all backwards looking. It's all moving averages. We're averaging days of the past, right? And so when you get to the point where a death cross is happening, it's not so much predictive of like where you're going. It can be a sign that that's actually time to buy, because you're now kind of towards the bottom. There's been a lot of gains given up, so much that the trend has gone so far that these two curves are now intersecting, and that it's often short term you might see some losses, but like in general, it's not a bad time. If you just said, okay, I'm going to buy every time there's a death cross, like maybe a few days afterwards, that probably wouldn't be the worst strategy in the world. And it wouldn't be easy to
Sounds
do,
very similar to the traditional market buying the shorts.
Exactly. Yeah, it's that same idea.
Well, another thing we should talk about leading to this volatility, back in 2017, back in 2018, the traditional institutions had not yet really entered into crypto, at least not openly. Now we've got futures, we've got so many traditional financial institutions, Grayscale, MicroStrategy, openly buying large amounts of crypto and moving their portfolios to store digital assets. So like the stories of the hedge funds that are being caught in the short squeeze, having to dump their crypto holdings to cover their losses. And so my point is, we see these major corrections. They're also due to these liquidations happening from leveraged positions that weren't there before. You didn't have this much leverage in the market. There wasn't this much leverage 2 to 3 years ago. So with more leverage, you're going to have that increased volatility when those positions get liquidated. Speaking of leveraged positions getting liquidated, I thought I'd segue right into that article you pulled up earlier. More than $1 billion in crypto positions liquidated in an overnight bloodbath. So $1 billion overnight, boom, gone. Now that's leveraged positions, right? For the hodlers,
no big deal.
No big deal.
Not a big deal.
if you're hodling this, you're just watching the normal cryptocurrency volatility, and if you have this, for many people, is an opportunity. For others, it's where you earn your stripes.
Right. Yes, that's true. And it's funny because we always talk about trying to make sure that you do your due diligence and not just buying hype. And days like this shows you, because you look at the losses, and Dogecoin is one of the outstanding in terms of how much it's lost percentage wise, down 35%. Now it's 37%. So
Yeah, here.
And then you got what Bitcoin is 11% and ETH is 16%. So I mean these are still bad losses, but wow, looking at it, it's gotten a little worse in the last little bit. But yeah.
Well, it's also we see opportunity. You know, Kusama has taken a 30% correction. AMP token, which just recently got a video by BitBoy, so there could be a correction coming off of that pump.
Right.
But Thorchain, Neo, so a lot of these are it's opportunity where you see the largest corrections, and these are the times where, what's that saying, when there's blood in the streets, buy, even if it's your own. Of course, right now stable coins are doing phenomenally well.
Pirate Chain. Look at Pirate Chain.
Pirate Chain.
And the last time we had a big dump, when Elon's energy tweets were the story of the day, Pirate Chain was also doing really good.
Now, how's that for a story? Stablecoin, 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 stablecoin. Pirate Chain right now, when the market is dumping, is up 13, up 11% the last day. Is still growing. So that's everything else below it is our stablecoins. The next 10 cryptos. So that's phenomenal. And I'm curious. A lot of times it could just be no. I'm not even gonna go there. It looks like this is a privacy protocol that's making some moves this year. That's what it looks like. It looks like this is a legit privacy protocol. That they haven't. I don't think privacy protocols have had their heyday yet, but there will be a time in cryptocurrency.
Well, you know what? There's a structural, news-driven story that might make Pirate Chain more attractive in the last 24 hours.
Let's
see if you can. It was capital controls, Chinese ban.
That's right. That's right. In fact, here we go.
Those narratives become popular, the more of these privacy protocols are going to seem to be valuable, right?
Well, that's some of the big news that we have is China's blocking cryptocurrency FUD, which has been around for a long time. How many times have you heard China bans crypto?
Right. Yeah, it's an old story.
Did y'all ever see the South Park episode? There was actually a cartoon South Park episode years ago. It was like 2 or 3 years ago, where they made an episode where a Chinese couple that runs a restaurant is behind let's make an announcement that we're going to ban Bitcoin again. That China, and they said, no, you can't do this. We've already made this news 13 times. I said, oh no, they'll believe it. We do it every time. And that's literally a cartoon from 2 or 3 years ago, and it's still happening again, right?
South Park is very prescient. It can be on point.
For sure.
Oh yeah, good stuff. But yeah, So what's going on here? I thought the fourth bullet point was kind of like summed up the whole story.
Read it out. Can you see it?
Yeah. While the PBOC, People's Bank of China, while their anti-crypto bias is not new, the latest statement comes after consultation with the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, the Agricultural Bank of China, the Construction Bank, the Postal Savings Bank, the Industrial Bank, and Alipay Network Technology. So it's a meeting of banking industrialists, right? Banking businesses, corporations.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a big meeting, and then now the PBOC announces they're going to ban the facilitation of virtual currency transactions. Well,
so you're saying,
I immediately thought, when I read that, I immediately thought, okay, so you got a bunch of people who are seeing their market share threatened by an emerging industry, and who want to get the government on their side to try to block it and maintain their control, right? Isn't that basically what you get out of that?
So are you saying a bunch of industrialists or capitalists or business leaders in the industry are coming together to meet to talk about their market and their industry?
Yeah.
Well,
There's a quote about this, right?
A famous quote in economics
Yeah.
by a famous philosopher economist named Adam Smith from a book called Wealth of Nations.
Why don't you read that one out?
People of the same trade seldom meet together, even for the merriment and diversion, but the conversation ends in a conspiracy against the public or in some contrivance to raise prices.
Yeah. There you go.
What would you say about that?
I'd say he basically hit the nail on the head with that.
Yeah, and what it's saying is that if you have people in industry that come to meet together, obviously there's nothing much more to talk about than how they can profit and benefit each other. It's like they're in the same industry. It's like a lobbyist and for the sugar company. I mean, they don't have interest outside of their industry, so of course they'll work for ways to benefit each other.
They have shared interests.
Shared interest. Now, we didn't get into this? We kind of blew through it. But next, so China makes its announcement of no longer accepting cryptocurrency for banking transactions with these certain industry leaders that they work with, right? But that's not the only attack and FUD out there. There's more news on the world scale, and it's kind of a shot at El Salvador. El Salvador's recently been announced as one of the countries pioneering Bitcoin as a legal tender.
Right.
Bitcoin is a national currency. Bitcoin as a means of payment and exchange of value for a people, for a nation. And what does the World Bank have to say about that? No. They say that the environmental impact of the power-intensive process of mining the currency. So let's understand, we come back to this again. Now the World Bank is coming out and saying, no. All that energy that you're using to mine Bitcoin is a harm to the environment, or we don't support the amount of energy. So you see these old narratives. Now, I think it only works on those who are ignorant and aren't aware of the nuances of the current system, which is why we like to take this time to educate and teach people. Because if you don't understand a problem, your solution will be off the mark, right? And that is, what is the problem with current fiat and current money? How much energy is wasted and used in the current monetary system versus the energy printed for Bitcoin? So we talk about world banks and world governments printing billions and printing trillions of dollars to fund industries that pollute the environment, that wreak havoc and destruction on communities and drop bombs and build, like, the energy argument. It's that it's virtue trolling. It truly is.
Concern trolling, yeah.
What's concern trolling? Right. It's control. Yeah. It's concern trolling. Like the World Bank. The World Bank is worried about the energy consumption.
But they're not going to call up J.P. Morgan or Citibank or Wells Fargo and say, hey, you guys need to turn your lights down or turn your thermometers up a little bit. You're using too much energy.
Yeah.
No, it's the mining. It's the miners that we have to worry about. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it just goes back to the idea that sometimes when your job requires you not to understand something, what's the old quote? Like if you get paid to not get something you want, I don't remember how it goes. There's an old quote, but something about if your job hinges on you not to understand something, then you won't understand it, right? And it's all about, that's really what it comes down to, is that they're not gonna make, these aren't good faith arguments. These people aren't sitting around typing up these criticisms about energy from a good faith position where they're just trying to weigh the facts and make an even-handed judgment. No, these are weaponized arguments, right? This is like a trolling. Like you said, it's a concern for trolling. You can't take it on its face because the systems they're defending are they pollute so much more. They use so much more energy, and not to mention the economic and civil liberty implications, right? So it's really just kind of you almost want to smile and just kind of turn around and walk away, because it's not even worth. It's like you want to engage it just for the audience who's watching, so they get the right story.
Right.
But you don't really want to take the argument seriously, because the people who are making it can't be serious.
No, it's not. It's silly. And then when they talk about being careful, saying that it's raising concerns, the potential for money laundering and tax evasion, it's like it's funny that they're creating that narrative when it's actually the opposite. Bitcoin is, and we're going to talk about this because Jacob, you pulled up some important stuff to show the purpose of blockchain and the blockchain explorer, and the whole point is that, like what we're going to show later on with Adamant and Wise Token, or products in the world of cryptocurrency and DeFi, is you can go look at it yourself. It's open source. These are open distributed ledgers, a blockchain explorer where anyone can go look at every transaction an address has ever made. It's so transparent. It's the opposite of laundering. It's the opposite of evasion. It's literally like in your face. This is what I have, and this is where I'm sending it. There's nothing hidden. It's the current system is so gray and convoluted and allows for things to be moved around and changed without people knowing. Right. So for me, it's spinning this narrative is really, I don't know the word for it, but it's creating a false narrative. It's this false narrative to kind of lead people right into a trap of the most, or if you have
like concern trolling again.
Concern trolling, if you have that narrative in your head, you're missing the Orwellian potential. Like if you're like, oh, Bitcoin is money laundering and tax evasion, so we better clamp down on monitoring the addresses and the wallets and the identities.
So, I would say if you guys are really concerned about tax evasion, that's a real big concern of yours. Well, then let's just get rid of income taxing altogether, and start raising our revenue through like a flat tax or consumption tax. So now you don't have to worry about loopholes and deductions and any of it. It's just flat. You know, it's 8% across the board, whatever percentage across the board every dollar you spend, right?
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, I mean, but they don't. That's not a proposal, because the whole idea behind an income tax is to make it something that you can pass 1 billion pages of regulations on and hire, and that board people with deep pockets can hire accountants, game the system,
and hire lawyers. And if you have enough to hire the accountants and the lawyers, then you can get away with paying less than those who can't afford it. So it actually becomes a tax.
And that's tax evasion, but just legally, right?
Right.
Strategic tax evasion, which is the whole reason for the income. Well, I mean, they want to raise revenue, but the structure of it is designed for that reason. It's so the people who have the means and the knowledge can get around it, right? And those who don't won't. So for them to come out and talk about, Bitcoin or crypto is worrisome because it facilitates tax evasion. It's like, well, your entire system is designed to facilitate tax evasion, and on a meta level, on a level that Bitcoin could never even approach. So I mean, don't even talk to me about that. Yeah.
I dig it. What do we have next? Oh, well, actually, there's the segue. So El Salvador worries about the energy, the World Bank, and then bada bing, bada boom. You found this not that long ago. This is a great article that goes right into Bitcoin. This is a great article that talks about the energy usage and the emissions. Less than 2% of the world's military industrial complex carbon emissions. So and you made a great point about this earlier. When we want to talk about the World Bank versus Bitcoin and crypto, could a country or a nation afford a military industrial complex in a cryptocurrency Bitcoin monetary system? The answer is no, because they would have to actually raise the money through direct taxation. And when you have a World Bank or central banks that can literally print billions or trillions at will, they don't have to, and they can send those billions and trillions right to build prisons or to build warships or to hire jobs.
I would say the same thing. I could come at it at a slightly different angle. I would say, well, if I was going to be critical of this article, my first criticism would be, well, it's comparing apples and oranges. You're comparing the military-industrial complex, which is, all about security and war, to a financial system, which is not, right? So why make the comparison? How is it relevant? Why not compare it to steel production or, you could go down the list of things that use energy. But here's the reason why that's a misguided criticism. In World War One, the world's governments, including the United States, went off the gold standard and went on to a non-convertible, non-redeemable paper standard, so they could do what you said earlier. They could print the money and not have to worry about taxing people. They had to raise a lot of capital because they had to command a lot of resources. They had to build bombs and fighters. They had to conscript a lot of people and build barracks and put them in uniforms and give them rifles and do all this. It cost a lot of money. And so all these different massive governments, Germany, London, everybody went off the gold standard, and they went on to a paper standard. Well, and that was how they funded that war machine. All that wealth that was dumped in those, and all those lives that were killed, it was all made possible through seizing resources through the printing press, right? Because direct taxation, as you said, would have been, well, politically, it would have probably caused a revolution. Because you're talking about telling the population that, hey, we're going to take in taxes like 3/4 of your check this next year, and the year after, and the year after. And people probably wouldn't have stood for that, especially fighting a war in some distant land that didn't directly threaten them here. So,
oh yeah.
So the way it was made possible was through printing money. So when so this argument about the comparison of Bitcoin, not just to the financial system, but also to the military and the military industrial complex, it's a relevant comparison, because the financial system as it stands is what subsidizes and makes possible that gargantuan military expenditure, which leads to a whole lot of carbon emissions. I want to say it's the biggest polluter in the world by far.
Absolutely, and what you said is the key. It's the subsidy section. Subsidies. The current financial World Bank fiat system allows for a small few politically chosen people to print large amounts of wealth and subsidize chosen industries, and that's the potential of us being able to prevent is these huge allocation of resources through subsidies
that people didn't ever support and wouldn't support.
That right.
That's the key.
So this is interesting, and Bitcoin, in the scheme of things, emits nothing compared with the positive value it provides, and compared to its legacy counterparts. That really, when you compare the actual energy burnt, the carbon fuel, the carbon emissions, all that good stuff measured up, that the current fuel, the legacy financial fiat system wastes or uses a lot more energy than moving to a cryptocurrency, than using extra electricity to support a network that people use on. Let's not forget about counterfeit. Yeah, no more counterfeit. People don't even. There's literally no more counterfeiting when it comes to cryptocurrency. You've eliminated. I mean, how many banks and Secret Service and industries have been out there to try to protect and prevent against counterfeiters? How much value has been eroded to counterfeiting, whether it's been done through printing at the top or counterfeiting at the bottom, for people printing on different levels. And that's something that's, again, gotten rid of, and that's not part of the measurement. So there are a lot of other calculations that could be added to this energy that's not even in here. This is just focusing on the military-industrial complex, mind you. This is only focusing. We can talk about other industries that are being revolutionized and being made more efficient.
To add a point to that, not only is there an energy story here, an energy efficiency story here, but for years, probably generations, people have talked about, well, how do we ever make it possible to live in a peaceful world? It was always people. There would be movements on the left and the right. Ron Paul on the right, even Trump to some degree on the right. Before that, George W. Bush, from 2000 in that era, he ran on an anti-war somewhat platform. There's been various anti-war candidates on the left throughout history, but every single presidency, it seems like we're in a new conflict, right? But war is never that popular, right? Mm-hmm. So the question is how do we ever get away from this thing that nobody wants, that we seem to be trapped in? It's like you're going to a grocery store and this piece of shit you don't want keeps winding up in your basket. And you keep putting it back on the shelf, but it just keeps winding back up in your basket every time you turn the corner. It's just, there it is again, And I think using Bitcoin is a way to take the value, unplug it from the legacy system, which funds war, funds all these horrible things, and you plug it into an alternative which isn't funding those things, right? So you're actually taking away you're taking away some resources from that entity, that system, that legacy system that we don't want. So yes, it's more efficient energy wise, but it's actually going to make the world, it's going to end up incentivizing the use of less energy, because it's going to make it more difficult to fund the war machine, which means less carbon emissions, right? So it's like the more you adopt it, potentially you even have a greener future, because you're taking away the ability to fund these pollution activities.
Well, we can make a little card for Elon Musk and the World Bank and all the members there, and show them this little graph of the current finance and insurance sector plus the military industrial complex, and see how Bitcoin pales in comparison to these industries as they stand at the moment.
Right.
I mean,
yeah. Exactly.
Great find, great article. The story, we'll just continue sharing the information that we find. I'm sure there will be more articles that it's all about education and knowledge and arming yourself with understanding, because as more people learn about crypto, they'll be easily duped into false narratives and silly stories. And if you hear that, oh my gosh, Bitcoin takes up too much energy uses because you have to plug it into your wall, there's an opportunity cost of a whole bunch of energy that's being used in this other system. Just because you don't see it being plugged into the wall doesn't mean it's more efficient. So it's good to really understand the amount of energy that's actually being consumed when you look at certain markets. Knowledge is power. So knowledge is more powerful than the military-industrial complex. And with that said, I don't know what we got. Oh, let's move into, we can move into more positive news. So we started out with the China FUD, the World Bank on El Salvador. There's all this negative news, the liquidations, $1 billion liquidations, which is, the crypto sky is falling. But in reality, what I like to see it in the world of crypto, while all this is going on, in the backdrop, you've got major chess moves, major plays being made in the background. That is, to me, super bullish. Whether it takes a couple weeks, a couple days, a couple weeks, a couple months to play out, the things that are happening right now when the market returns is the bullish market returns, they're going to leapfrog the previous all-time highs and values of some of these cryptos. I mean, without a doubt, and I don't want to spoil...
The network is what we're doing.
Absolutely. Well, Central Bank Portugal awards first licenses to local crypto exchanges. So we see El Salvador tries to make a move on Bitcoin. World Bank says no. China says no more crypto. Now Portugal says, hey, we're opening up to crypto. Do you guys kind of see like a narrative of different countries coming out and like a world stage of yes and no's, of accepting and we're banning? It's interesting to see. I don't know how big this is gonna. I'm not like a world war, but no. Kind of in like this on a financial scale, kind of building in that alliance.
The Axis.
Oh yeah,
allies.
The Axis and allies, exactly, when it comes to crypto, right?
Yeah, the crypto and the fiat.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Portugal's been innovative when it comes to free thinking and liberty and allowing progressive lifestyles. I say that they've been very
the drug situation,
decriminalizing preferences and people's choices, and that's a beautiful thing. It's been very successful out there to not imprison people for their vices. And now they're saying, well, come out here and open up a crypto account. Portugal's looking better and better.
Yeah, they're going to license the first local crypto exchange. Is that right?
Yep.
Oh shit.
That's cool.
One of a handful of countries friendly towards Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Authorities are taking the regulate rather than ban approach towards the burgeoning asset class in the hopes of such moves paying off in the future, economically and financially. Well, that goes without saying.
Well, that actually might be worth getting, taking a look to see what these exchanges are, and maybe getting
becoming involved. Yeah, getting a position or becoming.
This could be some because Portugal, that's a very, like you were saying, very progressive culture and society. So I could see the adoption maybe happening quickly in that part of the world.
Portugal could become a world leader again.
Good. Oh yeah, right. Isn't that right? They used to have a.
Portugal used to be the world before that. Their maritime. They're amazing maritime community. I mean, always have been one of the leaders on the seas.
Empire. Yeah.
Still strong maritime communities, and when it comes to shipping and trade. So to see a resurgence of Portugal through crypto and banking, I mean, who knows? This is very exciting times. This is really, truly, we're living in some remarkable times where this technology is not only making groundbreaking changes in markets, but in nations, like whole people,
Indeed.
Oh yeah.
What's the next story? Oh, I like the story of all these rigs leaving China.
Hilarious. All right, bada bing, bada boom. Hit it.
3,000 tons of Bitcoin mining rigs are being shipped to Maryland, USA.
I believe that's right, and they're leaving China. So apparently, the China crackdown on Bitcoin mining is what's instigated this sell-off, and airlifting, like you said, 3,000 kilograms of Bitcoin mining machines to Maryland, USA. There it is. The firm, which is located in Guangzhou, I don't know if that's probably not pronounced right, is a logistics company that offers international shipping to door delivery. So I don't know if Maryland's the final destination, but that's where it is right now. And Jacob, you mentioned something about mining in the United States, and what was that? Because I've heard that too.
Oh yeah, mining in the United States is actually really big. With the energy costs in Texas, there's a ton of people in Texas who are buying up these miners that are basically on sale because they can't mine in China.
Yeah. So we'll see a resurgence if you live in Texas or maybe other states that are notorious for having low energy costs. This is where we'll start to see new mining markets popping up. I mean, that's a great opportunity. This sparks opportunity. Anytime it seems like a downturn, there's always an opportunity somewhere lying in the rubble.
Yeah, I get the feeling there's like competing narratives coming out of China. There's probably like different classes of people in the Politburo that are having, there's one side that wants to ban all things crypto. There's got to be some other side that sees it as an opportunity and wants to be, make sure they have a foothold. But I just wonder what would the reaction be to see all of this technology leaving China and coming to the United States, all this hardware, all the power and the market share of in this emerging asset class, this emerging industry. And that's got to be, if it was me, I'd be like, wait a minute. Are we making the right move here? Wouldn't it be better if it was leaving the United States and coming here, right? Like, or do we really want to be doubling down on the horse and buggy industry when the car is emerging and sending the car technology to another country? Is that really the smart move? Makes you wonder.
Speaking of really the smart move, I've heard this before, talking about central bank digital currencies, El Salvador wanting to have Bitcoin parallel. That article said El Salvador wants Bitcoin to be parallel to the US dollar. Mm-hmm. Well, it's been said and argued, USDC coin, DAI, True USD, Compound USD, Tether, Terra USD on the Luna network, Paxos Standard, Binance USD. Look at all these Compound CDAI, Compound USD. Look, what we're seeing is all these stable coins in the cryptocurrency. Basically, the dollar, in many ways,
is digital.
Is already been moved a huge portion to the cryptocurrency, to the blockchain market. So without even standardizing anything, you can see how the United States can sit back. People working in the United States can sit back and not pass any laws or regulations at the moment and allow the US dollar to kind of grow up alongside this new asset class as being the reserve stablecoin currency of choice at the moment, right? I mean, it's just naturally kind of grown up. So I just thought that's interesting because what we're seeing with China making an announcement of banning and El Salvador trying to make this move to accept Bitcoin, and United States having all these mining rigs shipped over to the US, we could start to see kind of, like I said, this narrative of certain nations open and supporting certain blockchains, maybe, and other nations trying to make moves to support other blockchains.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You can definitely see that shaking out.
But look, Pirate Chain, because of our stream and us talking about it earlier, look at the pump it's going through.
They should cut us a check.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Yeah, that's all right. They can just send us some pirate. That's cool. Some R. I'd love some of that. I'd love to support that. That's still on my list of crypto communities to join and support. Man.
I think Grayscale's been paying attention to our stream too, because they're adding a lot of the projects
that we talk about, right?
But that can't be true.
And speaking of, actually, Grayscale, this is what we like to talk about. So, yeah, right now, if you're just looking at the short term and you're looking at your portfolio or you're just looking at the news, you're like, oh my gosh, what's going on in the world of cryptocurrency? It's a bloodbath, right? Oh, whoops, let me get out of this one-day change and go to market cap. There we go. You're looking at Bitcoin's down. Ethereum is below $2,000, which it hasn't been since April 6th. It's been a couple months, right? You're looking at these major depressions in the market. But while all this is going down, in front of your face, in the background, Grayscale is offering 13 more cryptos. In the background, Goldman Sachs is making moves to trade futures, Bitcoin futures, and is very bullish on the crypto market in the long run. So we've got news to talk about Ethereum and EIP 1559 and what's going on right around the corner. So don't be fooled by what's happening today in the prices. Meanwhile, big players are taking advantage. When there's blood in the streets, buy even if it's your own. When do you want to start jumping in on solid projects when they're at the peak of their all-time highs and their prices? No, you want to start taking a look at those projects after these massive corrections. Say, oh, what was that project Kusama that seems to be doing has a lot of support? What was that Polkadot? Cardano's now doing smart contracts. That sounds.
I always say, make a list, make a shopping list, and then just keep checking the indexes and wait for some serious deep discounts. Like you would if you were going to buy a new mattress or a new TV, right? You got that model TV you love. Well, you're not going to go buy it when it's you know Black Friday's coming up.
Yeah,
wait a couple weeks,
Black Friday.
Yeah, that you do the same thing with crypto. It's the same mentality.
Absolutely. So this is great to see this shakeout. I mean, we've been talking about it. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin go below 30,000 and break closer to 25, really trying to hit close to 20, 23, 24, 22, who knows. I can see it trying to get back down to that previous all-time high of 20K. And
that might be a good place for it to revert back and start growing again.
Sure. And for a lot of people, they'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it came down so low. But for others who've been around, be like, wow.
Buy some Bitcoin.
The new low is 20,000. I mean,
yeah, that's the new bottom.
Right. So that's huge. And you look at Ethereum. So I know we're not going to talk about the article. I don't want to skip too much, but I like to talk about economic value, thinking about prices and their relationship to value, and not just the speculative nature, but the actual
fundamentals of what they're doing.
The fundamentals of what are happening, exactly. So we know that Ethereum recently, with Visa and all these companies openly, wanting to be involved and using it for processing payments or for other aspects of the network, has gotten a lot of support. And recently, Ethereum went to over $4,000, right, per ETH. Okay, and that was with gas fees being high, right? That was before these the maturation of the Ethereum network. And we're going to get to the article later, but there are things that are happening right now that are making Ethereum better right now. So when the market returns to the bulls, do you foresee that Ethereum has the potential to leapfrog its previous all-time high. If it was worth $4,000 before EIP 1599, before the deflationary aspect and the lower gas fees, and it's more attractive, then what's the
Berlin upgrade? I've seen gas fees come down quite a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Like on the next pump, we obviously have we'll have a new high because of and it's gonna bring more people who couldn't participate before because they couldn't afford.
Same thing with Bitcoin and the Taproot network that we talked about. They're building for smart contract and adding. Like the reality is that Bitcoin was recently at $60,000. It's at 50% its recent all-time high.
Right.
That's a steal. Congratulations, if you're.
Especially when you consider that Bitcoin was $3,000 only, but what, like a year ago?
Yeah, you're right. Just a year. Just a year ago.
It was around 3,500.
Yes. Almost a 10x.
We're at 30. We're at 10 times that. So
right.
You have to keep that. All that has to be. You have to be in crypto for a minute, for a couple of years, before you start to get the rhythm of what's going on.
A few years, or at least be mature enough with markets to where you understand that there is a rhythm, and you kind of look at it. But you're absolutely right. It's so volatile that if you're not really aware of the rhythm, it's easier to get shaken out than not, especially if you're involved in leverage trading, which I don't recommend or get involved in all that. I'm just more about fundamentals, educate yourself, learn, join those projects that you want to understand and support and build value in. But
the more about that kind of fundamentalist approach.
Oh yeah.
And hodl, hodl it and see what happens, because I look at these. We are so in the beginning of what these blockchains, these industries are going to produce. We're talking about years early from these decentralized exchanges, these financial protocols and other utility projects.
You want to talk a little? I had a little joke I wanted to talk about in the London upgrade, but I don't want to start with a joke. So do you want to get into the article?
Yeah, let's go straight to that one first. So we did mention. I don't need to cover too much more. Let me finish the Grayscale. So the bullish news is that Grayscale's been they've been one of the big cryptocurrency supporters over the last year.
Like a hedge fund, right? You can you buy in their fund and they pool cryptos, and you can buy into their pool, simply, right? Isn't that
Absolutely
kind of what it is?
Yep. So a traditional financial institution that's bullish on digital assets in the cryptocurrency market, and they continue to offer more digital assets for their customers in traditional finance. So this is, again, bullish news. Congratulations for those in Polygon, Solana, ICP, the
Internet Computer.
Yeah, Internet. Internet Computer Network. So and of course Matic, Loopring, Kyber Network, Kava, Ren Protocol, Curve, 0x. So great protocols. And I don't want to toot our horn yet. But we do have. Speaking of great where can you find a list of cryptocurrencies? I'm gonna do a little spoiler. Check out our new website. Only because, hey, look, if you're looking at a place to learn about crypto, we're going to make some edits, but you got crypto news sites, bada bing, bada boom. If you're looking to what are some of the top leading crypto news sites, we've got crypto metrics channels, nomics.com, CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, all your top DeFi polls. So come check it out. We've got a neat little site that we're putting together and adding value. Learn more about the stable coins. We've got links that'll take you right there. Cryptocurrencies. The storage, what do you do with your crypto? You know what to tell people. Trezor, Ledger, Atomic, MetaMask, Exodus, it's all right here. Where do you get it for people who are new to crypto? I don't know where to go. Well, we got crypto fiat gateways galore and exchanges that you can sign up on. So every one of these are clickable links that'll take you right to the site where you can learn more about it and how to buy crypto directly. Still making changes, but look, privacy protocols. Pirate Chain, we're already telling you about it. We know what's up. Pirate Chain's one of the leading privacy protocols. We have it out there for you, as well as Secret Network, Monero, Tornado Cash, Blank. We've talked about Blank. Jacob's talked about Blank. We've all been out here shouting the crypto love for a while. And check it out, wisebeyondbitcoin.com. Really excited to share this. We've got a whole list of DeFi protocols. So if you're like, hey, how do I get involved in DeFi and crypto? Well, Boom, bada bing, bada boom. This is it. This is decentralized exchanges. These are where you can provide liquidity. This is where you can earn interest, where you can get involved directly, not CFI, but old-fashioned DeFi, if that's a thing. Maybe new-fashioned DeFi.
Yeah.
And we've got the old smart contract platforms. So this is a place to learn. It's just a little DeFi, crypto, and of course your leading crypto educators, BitBoy, Coin Bureau, Altcoin Daily. Go down the list. These are leading ambassadors and educators. So a little site, a little 1-2 shop, and bada bing, bada boom. There's our shameless plug as we move on to Goldman Sachs. Okay, boom.
Okay, yes, this is interesting. They created a crypto futures desk, and they left it kind of, what's the word? And they didn't use it. They just kind of created it and let it sit dormant. And now they've kind of reinvigorated it. And they're partnering up with Galaxy Digital, and they're offering futures, crypto, Bitcoin. Is it Bitcoin only or crypto in general? Yeah.
I believe
crypto
it's
futures.
crypto.
Got it. Yeah. So it probably. I'm sure Bitcoin is the dominant one, but yeah, they're basically opening up. It's another example of one of the biggest institutions in Wall Street, making digital assets available to their clients.
A new era, right?
And I like the point this article makes, where it says that what this does is give permission to the other banks that they can begin offering these services to. Because they're seen as such a respected entity in their industry, that the people are like, well, if Goldman's going to do it, then it's good. If it's good enough for Goldman, then it's good enough for me, right? That's kind of
I just think it's bullish news all around.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Very much so. Even the decline, because you have to go down before you go up.
Absolutely.
You're not going to build a 20 or 30% rally on a parabolic. On the tip of a parabola,
you have to be thinking like these hedge funds too. I mean, why would they enter in a position where they're way up here at the all-time high? Why would they want to buy that?
Right.
No.
So they see the future forming too.
And like you said, this is a new era. We're looking at fundamentals. I don't know where the price is going to be today, tomorrow, next week, in a month. Who knows? But when you look at the fundamentals, what do you think it means when Goldman Sachs is just now beginning to start opening up futures trades in this industry? You think they expect crypto and Bitcoin to be gone next year? Do you think they expect it to be a dead industry? No, it's just beginning. Grayscale picking up 13 more digital assets. Do you think that Grayscale is expecting all those 13 to just die out and be dead projects next year? Do you think that they're going through all this?
How many hundreds of millions in bond sales does Michael Saylor have to do in the last like 2 to 3 weeks?
Right.
And just to make more Bitcoin purchases, like that's not happening. He's not raising that capital from millionaires because to spend on an investment that nobody believes is going to be around in a few years. Like that's the kind of money you put into something that you have faith in.
Right.
So yeah, all in all, it's very bullish.
Very bullish. That's why, despite the prices right now, it's a bit of a bummer for those looking at their portfolios and seeing where the value was at a few months ago. Or at the same time, though, when you're just in it to win it for the long run and you're just aware of these temporary swings, this is exciting because despite the prices right now, the news going around crypto with institutions supporting it and buying in at the moment, and with the actual progress in the protocols, what they've been accomplishing, it's bullish news. I would say that if you're learning about crypto right now, you're very fortunate, you're lucky. There's a pot of crypto gold at the end of this rainbow, because the reality is that you're early. Goldman Sachs is just now beginning to open up futures. You're hearing Grayscale is just now opening up to these 13 new digital assets. We're literally at the very beginning of many of these protocols. No one is late to the game. Just because Bitcoin's been around for just a decade, that'd be like thinking after cars have been around for 10 years, oh, cars are so yesterday, there'll be no improvements. Like, are you kidding me? Cars have gone through many iterations and improvements since the Ford Model T, and even at 10 years after the Ford Model T. So we're absolutely at the beginning of this market. It's exciting to see all the growth and changes. And I know we touched upon it, but we got to give some more time to this topic of the EIP 1559 upgrade.
And let everybody know that 1559 is not a price prediction.
No, it's not a price prediction. No. It's the name. Well, I'm not a where does the number come from? I'm sure it's something related to the coding. I'm sure it's coding related.
Well, EIP stands for Ethereum Improvement Proposal, and it's just the number. I don't know exactly how they do it.
How many proposals there have been over the years? Maybe. Yeah. There have been 1,500. This is the 1,559th proposal. Could be. Anyway, we'll find out.
Yeah, but it's already ready to be deployed, and they're gonna test it on June 24th. That's like just a couple days from now.
So yeah, again, happy. What a way to start the new year. I mean, say the new year, after the summer solstice. Today is the summer solstice. Wherever you are, it's a solstice somewhere. If you're in another part of the world, it could be your winter solstice. But hey, it's a solstice. So congratulations. Celebrate the day with your family and friends, and know that good things are coming, and especially with Ethereum, because the June 24th, what's that, in 3 days? The beginning of the summer, Ethereum is practicing, what's their, before the official deployment, what are they calling it? Their
the testnet, right?
The testnet. Yeah. That's right. So we've got a testnet as starting June 24th, and they're expecting within a couple weeks that they'll be ready for the real thing, testing it scheduled for July 7th. So huge news, right? And this is where I was going back. Let's go back to the price for looking at price and value. Again, these changes are happening when the price in the market is down. If the market was bullish and all this news coming out, then you see, but right now, the market's down and these are happening. To me, I love hearing this stuff because that just means, well, shucks, if people thought Ethereum was worth $4,000 per ETH back in the day, imagine what they're going to see when the gas fees are lower, and because of this new protocol, it's more deflationary, and you've got Ethereum being burnt with every transaction. So these are all bullish.
Good news too. If you had any ETH that was blocked, kind of like what's the word when you can't get to it? It's because the gas fees are greater than the value.
Oh, all that locked, right? It's
and kind of ETH that exists.
Yep.
Now the amount of that's kind of unattainable has just been reduced. Is now going to steadily decrease. Meaning more and more people are going to be able to
access their ETH and bring it back to the market.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's a beautiful thing if you're one of those people.
Absolutely. Where's power?
So, let's talk about some of the changes. One of the things that in the article goes over that this proposal is going to modify the way the blocks are minted, so that the way it is now, there's like a bidding process that goes on, and the highest bidders get their transactions confirmed, and then the people who are kind of below that, they're left to kind of congest the flow of the blockchain essentially, and you can have to wait, maybe even your transaction won't go through, right? So this upgrade is going to modify it so that now the entire system just selects the lowest bid, and that everybody now pays whatever the lowest bid was for that block. And then there's going to be a percentage of the gas fees that are going to be burned, which is going to ultimately be deflationary in terms of the supply of ETH that exists, which is just another bullish, factor price-wise. So that's kind of that's the gist of it, of what's going on with the upgrade. In case you weren't clear on that.
That's it.
But yeah, I generally think anything that deflates the supply of a currency that's generally going to be good.
Pushing up on the price, ceteris paribus.
Oh, yeah. Most people, especially when they look at the value of Bitcoin, they look at the halving structure. Well, This is Ethereum's version of its halving. It adds a deflationary force.
Exactly. That's a good way to explain it, yeah.
We got one more article before we get into some yield farming news about some DeFi and the recent news with Iron Finance. And Jacob pulled out some really premium stuff that I want to get to after our last little article here. So one thing we have is, Ryan, you pulled this up earlier. NFTs have been a hot topic in cryptocurrency, and obviously more people are wanting to get involved in this technology of blockchain, how NFTs operate. So without further ado, what do you
Okay, yes. Well, so CNN is, they're announcing a project called Vault by CNN, Moments That Changed Us. And they're going to try to tokenize major moments in history. The things they've captured video or pictures of, right? So that'd be whether that's war or like a bill being signed or a president being inaugurated or fill in the blank, right? Whatever civil rights protest. There's a lot of, they have to have a lot of footage and photos in their vault. And so essentially what they're doing is they're taking their intellectual property and they're trying to monetize history by getting a royalty by tokenizing this media and then and selling it, I guess, and you get a royalty. They're going to cash in on the royalty. And I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way. I love the NFT thing, and I like the idea, but something about, I guess it's the intellectual property angle, or the idea that history is sort of like collectively ours.
Right.
So for somebody to try to go in, it'd be like trying to go in and like privatize the ocean or something like that. What are you doing?
And you can't breathe this air over here. It's fine.
Yeah,
I bought it.
And it's a little arrogant, I mean, moments that changed us. It's like, who's this us? I mean, there's a lot of people that weren't around for the. I don't know. I guess it depends on what channel you're watching, or if you watch. There's a lot of people who don't watch, all that stuff. And
but this next part of the story is actually, kind of cool, lighthearted, and Fox is going to get into the NFT game, but theirs is going to be television, their TV shows. They're going to cash in on their IP on that stuff, which is I feel good with because you created that. That's fine, and those shows are great. Bob's Burgers, The Simpsons, whatever.
Well, also as far as have y'all heard of the Flow blockchain?
I believe
I heard of it before. It's just been a long time. Flow. It sounds familiar. Flow blockchain, Flow crypto. The reason I say that is because CNN is using the Flow blockchain. Here we go. Flow, the blockchain for open worlds, for games, digital assets, for NFTs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think this is it. On Flow. Let me go back. Maybe this might be it. Wrong. I think I saw another one. But the reason I say is if you follow that article, they're saying that CNN is working with. Come on, go back.
Okay, I see it. Yeah, Flow blockchain, and it's a popular chain for NFT projects such as NBA Top Shot. Cool. So that might be worth taking a look at.
Yeah, let me try. I think it might be this one. Oh, Flow token. Let's see if this one works. What is Flow? But this is, how do you do research? Yeah, you read white papers. You look at the social media. There are different ways you go to look at a project and get involved. Okay, so register now. This is about a little bit about Flow. Like you said, NBA, CryptoKitties, UFC. So Flow is one of the smart contract platforms out there that are built for supporting NFT trading. And who knows, collectors. I need to learn more about this. We'll leave a link down below. We've already got a link to the other articles as well. But shucks, Flow token.
They have some cool partners. I mean, NBA, CNN.
Yeah, they have great partnerships. So, but that's what you look for, right? You look for those communities. Ooh, Dr. Seuss. Love me some Dr. Seuss. Those crypto communities that are active, involved, and in making bridges between Samsung, other major players.
Warner Music Group and UFC. So yeah, they have some huge partnerships.
Oh, so go with the Flow. I'll have to write that on my list of things to follow up on. Speaking of list of things to follow up on, Jacob.
Ooh. So remind me if you can, remind me to ask you to send that to me.
Which one?
I need Flow.
Okay.
But something that's interesting is I get a lot of people in blockchain don't understand that it is a public ledger, which means that everything on the blockchain is viewable. For example, Adamant Finance has been having an issue where they were being DDoSed, which basically it's when you ping a website and it gets so much traffic that it can't handle it, so it breaks, essentially. So the front end of Adamant, everything you're seeing now, wasn't working, and it would pop up as an error. And the only reason for that was it was all the front end.
Right.
Everything on the blockchain was still verifiable. So if you go over to the contract address right up there at top, the one next to it, to the left.
Pardon me.
Yeah, you can see everything is verifiable on Polygon Scan, and on Ethereum it's Etherscan. But you can even interact with these smart contracts just with Polygon Scan. So you see where it says Connect Web3? You would just connect that little red dot right there on the left.
Right here. Bada bing, bada boom. Right there. Yep.
You would just click that and you would connect your MetaMask account, and then you could literally interact with it where you could add rewards, approve rewards. And depending on what contract you're interacting with, you could do all kinds of different things. I mean, you could add liquidity, you can pull your liquidity out, you can claim rewards, you could do everything natively from the contract. The tough part about it is if you don't know what you're doing, do it on a test net and learn. I would go on like Ethereum's test net, the Romston net, and just play around with the blockchain explorer. Just because there's so much value to be had here. If you go to analytics, if you click right there next to events where it says analytics, you can actually look at on-chain data that you don't have to pay for from Glassnode or from anybody else. And you can look at some of the things that are happening on-chain. So like you could look at the transactions, the inflow and outflow, the unique incoming and outgoing wallets. And it's very interesting.
That'd be very helpful for considering whether or not you should exit or not. Whether or not, is the price falling a temporary thing, or is there, a serious outflow? You can kind of get an idea of what's going on.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of value to be had in blockchain explorers, and I feel like a lot of people don't utilize them. Same with Wise. You can verify with the Wise on Etherscan that all of the liquidity is locked, because you could see that everything was burnt.
Right.
You could see that liquidity was burnt, and you can verify that on the blockchain. You could look at all their analytics. You can go through and interact with the smart contract, even if the website is down.
Right.
And so it's something that I feel not enough people know about. It's just something that I would recommend. Just play with. Go on a test net, play with it for a little bit, learn, and mess around with maybe a little bit of Solidity too. It's something that I've been trying to do.
I've been thinking about learning a little bit. I just need to take the plunge.
I've been thinking about learning too. I love learning. I'm thinking about it.
No doubt.
But that's, I like the point you brought up, because actually it's important for people to understand how this technology works. Now, it's not really as functional as I'd like it to be quite yet, but as you know, stakewise.org was actually a site that I developed a while ago before the gas fees were egregious. And this is actually a place where you can go and you can link up your MetaMask wallet, and you can click unlock wallet, and you can literally stake Wise token from this website. And this website does exactly what you were saying. It's just a front end. I don't control the contract. I just found someone who knows how to go to the smart contract over here for Wise token, and you go over to contract, like you said, and you can go to write contract. I believe that's where you go to. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And everything that Wise token has created with their smart contract, anyone can interact with. Connect Web3 wallet, and you can create a bulk stake, create a stake, You can end a stake. All the things that the contract, you can do it yourself. You don't need a fancy front end. Anyone can do it themselves. Or you can make a fancy front end that makes it easy for people, which is all Adamant Finance, all these websites. They're, like you said, they're just front ends. If there's a DDoS attack and the site goes down, it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with the token contract. It just means that that front end is down, right? Like if your money's in a Chase Bank and then a local Chase Bank burns down, does that mean your money burnt down? No, it just means that they're going to have to get a new Chase Bank built over at the corner of the street, and until that one, you'll have to go find another Chase Bank to access your fiat. And that's similar. A front end is just
it's a portal.
It's just a portal, exactly. So there's a little plug on that multi-staker, but that's a quick plug. Overall, when it comes to crypto, although it looks like we're in bearish times, I mean, I'm pretty dang bullish. Life is beautiful. Life is good. And there's a lot of great news happening, a lot of great things, a lot of great protocols that didn't exist a couple years ago, and a lot of amazing developments on protocols that have been around for many years. They continue to improve and develop.
Yeah. And it's also just a good opportunity. I mean, you got to look at the correction, the bear phase is like accumulation time. You know?
Absolutely.
So it as an opportunity, and there's nothing really to be upset about. That's the way I see it.
Get your shopping cart ready.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll help you pick out the gems.
Right.
I'm gonna go. Hey, let's end it one more time as we go out. Jacob, have you had a chance to check out the new site we just got put up?
Yeah, I was actually checking it out. You guys got a ton of different links on there. I love it.
Thank you, brother. I'm going to clean it up. We're going to clean it up a little bit and add some more logos, and so people can kind of get used to seeing the pics like you see right here. I think it's important for people to kind of get that branding of the different cryptocurrencies and stable coins to learn for themselves. But one of the things I was thinking, you scroll down now, I don't know if you know this, but this is really neat. Did you know that Elrond has a payment gateway where you literally can just go straight to fiat to Elrond?
Really?
And it's just neat seeing different projects out there that are helping people convert and join the world of blockchain. But Binance, KuCoin, Kraken, Coinbase, Crypto.com. I mean, these are the big players. People who are getting into crypto should know, where do I go? If I want to get involved in crypto, where do I go? And here you go, right here. If you want to know where to go to get involved in crypto fiat gateways and exchanges, pick your favorite. Go check them out. Become a member. 1, 2, 3, all of them. This is it. This is where you go. And also, where do you store it? Well, here you go. This is where you store it. You got Trezors, Ledgers. You've got free wallets, Exodus, Atomic Wallet, Trust Wallet, MetaMask. So, you know, where do you go for storage? We've got it all right here. Here's what I want to move up. Our privacy protocols and our layer 2 solutions. I want to get that same brand logo image so people know what Pirate Chain looks like, so they know what Secret Network and Monero. So I feel like I'm going to pop these up closer to the top list of cryptocurrencies right around here so people can see that. And we've got this beautiful list of smart contract platforms and DeFi protocols. So if you're new to crypto or you're a crypto vet and you know that there are all these different projects in DeFi or all these different innovative pioneering smart contract platforms that are out there, shucks, we're going to get Flow out here and let them be a part of the, but you know, a one-stop shop, a little DeFi hub. So mark it, what is it called? Bookmark it, tag it, flag it, snag it.
Just check it out.
Check it out. Yeah, check it out. And if you want some information and you like to talk to us in more detail about how we can help you streamline your education and get involved in different projects, feel free to send us a little message on what you're looking to do and how we can help you. We look forward to it. We will be tweaking this, editing it, moving forward. But man, I sure am excited. Thank you, Mike, for getting this website up for us so soon. Our web guy, he's been with us for many months, and he's just nonstop. Yep, beautiful work. I'm so happy to see that. I think we covered a pretty good amount. We'll pop out a couple vids this week. Thank you for all those who enjoyed our little Mark Cuban exposed video. That was hilarious. But we got some news to do this week on the energy. We'll do a more detailed look at that and a couple of the other stories for those who want a little quick 5-10 minute blip. We've got that coming out and a more detailed look at our site. But I feel like we've covered our weekly stream pretty well.
Yep, I'm satisfied. It's good to hang out with you, Jacob. As always.
Always good to hang out, man.
Hey, yeah, thank you, brother. I know I rattled off. We had a lot to get through, but thank you for providing that info on the blockchain explorers and Adamant Finance, because part of this is really understanding how the projects work. You don't buy into FUD, you don't buy into fear when you have knowledge of how the protocols work and you understand the difference between, well, this is a perfect example of understanding the difference between a hack, right? A front-end hack like a Mt. Gox and a flaw in the protocol. Many people hear about a Mt. Gox and they think, oh, Bitcoin was hacked, right?
Bitcoin was hacked, oh no.
It's like, no, it's literally just the same thing you're talking about. The front end was hacked. The front end of some other protocol that was allowing people to interact with Bitcoin and exchange between each other. But the protocol itself of Bitcoin was never hacked. It was never touched. And the same thing with a lot of these other projects. It's if a website for Wise Token or another site is down, that doesn't mean that the smart contract has failed and the protocol is down. It literally just means the front end is down a bit. If you really need to get in there and move around, go to the smart.
If you need to get in there, go to a different website.
Yeah, exactly. Go stake from a different site, So.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
Well, I think that's it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, all that good stuff. And if you have a question or some news that you think we need to catch up on, send us a link, send us a message, and we look forward to hearing from you. I'm going to say until the next time, have a beautiful day and namaste. What a beautiful way to spend the solstice. Thank you again, Jacob, for spending your time out here with us. We're going to put together a pretty kick-butt show for next week. I know we got a lot of good stuff to cover, and the market will always come up with fun stuff for us between now and then, too. But we're just getting started. This is a beautiful, beautiful time to be involved in crypto and blockchain. So take your time to learn, explore the links, explore the channels. Some great YouTube channels too. Don't forget to take a look at all these crypto educators and ambassadors. We got people that got millions of viewers, hundreds and thousands of hours dedicated to teaching people how to store, how to move around on a wallet, where to get crypto. This is just the beginning. So take your time and learn. There's a lot of free knowledge, free information out there, and be patient with yourself. That's my 2 cents.
That sounds good. Well, thanks for spending your Monday night talking crypto, and look out for the videos we have coming up the next few days. And if you have time, check out our website.
Yep. Jacob, you want to say anything on the way out, brother?
Yeah, just keep an eye on the markets, guys, and don't let the FUD get to you.
Words of wisdom.